G'day everyone, welcome back. This is the second part of the registration tutorial, the registration form tutorial. So let's get back into it. Where we left off, I had created one input field. This is what our form looks like at the moment, and when we register, it posts the form fields to the user controller and the register function, which at the moment is set to just display the form again. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this one that I prepared earlier, and I'm going to copy that out and replace this one with that, and I'll show you what it looks like now. So if I go and register now, if I go and refresh now, we get the form with all the fields in it: username, name, email, password, and confirm password. Now what I've done is, you will notice these ones, the passwords, are hidden because it's a password input field. And the way you do that, exactly the same format. So what I've done for all these, I'll quickly show you: username, name, all exactly the same, right? Very, very straightforward. At the moment they're all set to just reset to nothing. And then the username, name, email are all form input. And what we do for password, exactly the same parameters passed to us, just the array values that we have created above, but we just call a function called form_password, which just makes it a password field. So that is that. Now we got to get into the actual validation process. So once we instead of loading, we will be loading the form, but what we do to start a validation is we need to load the validation library. Now we can do this manually. This load library, okay, and it's the form validation library, and that will load it. And if you use it a lot, just take that form validation and shove it into the auto load libraries array, and like that, and it'll load for every instance, and you'll never have to do this manual load. But in our case, I'm going to leave that like that, and I'm going to load it manually. And then just to get us started, rather than set any validation rules at this point, I'll just show you the basic syntax for loading our form and performing a validation on it. So what we do is we say that if this form validation run is false, okay, and what that means is if it's invalid, if there are validation errors, or it has never been run, then we're going to execute this code in here. Okay, hasn't been run, or there are errors, validation errors. Okay, else this bit here is everything is good, validation is good, the form has been posted, so we're good to process it. So everything is good, process the form, write the data into the registration database or whatever. Okay, you know what I mean. So we can leave this blank for now, but what we do here, if it hasn't run before or there's errors, what do we want to do? We got to show the view, so that's where we show the view. So now when this function's called, okay, we load the validation library, we check if there's any validation errors or if the form hasn't even been displayed before. If that's true, then let's show the form. Otherwise, or let's show the view which has the form in it. Otherwise, alright, well, otherwise if it's been posted, then we're going to execute all this stuff, but we'll get to that in a minute. So let's save that and run it, and we should see our form exactly the same. Okay, So that's perfect. So now what we can do is set our validation rules. So above here we're going to set a rule. So this is the way we do it. We say this form validation set rules. Okay, now we specify the field name, so that's the name of the field, as in what we defined up here is name. So we're going to do one for reg, username, name, email, etc. Okay, that's funny, I actually left them all like that, so I might just get rid of that. Make them all like that, that's nicer. Okay, so the username field, what are our the second parameter. So the first one's the name. The second parameter is the label that we're going to show when the validation error is printed. So when we print a validation error, we have to show something like, for example, a username must not be blank, or whatever the validation error is. So we specify what the field name is, and so we'll just call it username. And then we specify any other parameters, and we can also run functions that take one posted value in. For example, we can put a trim in here, so we can just do trim, okay, or we could do trim, and then you separate them with the pipe. So we can do trim, we can do required, we can do alphanumeric. And we can specify a minimum length, for example, min length, and we're going to say min length is 6, right, and so on. And these rules are defined in, I got a problem. These are defined in Code Igniter. Where is it? Code Igniter user guide. You want form validation class, and you want the function reference. Sorry, the rule reference. And these are the rules that you can use. Okay, and this user guide is fantastic, so take advantage of it. So there we specify our rules, and you do that for each of the fields, and then we do the validation. So for example, let's just leave this as is with just the username one, okay, and save it, and we're going to go back to our form, and we're going to put in 3 letters and register. Okay, and it's come back, so we actually don't know what's going on there, because I forgot to output the validation errors if there are any. So we do that by putting in, I'll put it above the submit button. I'll put a list item, and it'll just be echo validation errors. Okay, so that'll output any. So we're going to post back the same data again. We should get a validation error. The username field is required. Okay, so it's blank. Now if I enter 3 letters, then I've provided one, but it's not a minimum of 6, so it's going to error again. Right? Username field must be at least 6 characters in length. So that's pretty beautiful. It's pretty easy, and I think that's excellent. So we will go ahead and set all our rules for all our fields, and I'll do that, and I'll show you the outcome of that in the next tutorial. Thanks for watching.